When I got my first dog, I thought that feeding it well, taking it for walks, and playing with it would be enough. But I had no idea that seemingly small things could actually make my dog sick, lead to bad behavior, or even put it in danger. And by the time I realized this, it was already too late. If you're planning to get a dog or already have one but don't know about these things, make sure to watch this video before making the same mistakes. Especially mistake number 9. It can be truly dangerous, but most people don't realize it until it's too late. Are you sure you're not making these mistakes? I thought so too, until I had to pay the price. Don't let small mistakes affect your dog's health and lifespan. Subscribe to the channel now to make sure you're taking care of them the right way. The first mistake I made was choosing a dog solely based on its appearance. When I first saw a husky puppy with bright blue eyes and a thick, fluffy coat, I immediately decided to bring it home without researching the breed. 6 months later, my adorable puppy had turned into a complete nightmare. It couldn't stay still indoors, constantly destroying furniture, chewing up the sofa, and shredding carpets. I had no idea that huskies are a high-energy breed, and if they don't get enough exercise, they will find ways to release their energy, often by destroying everything in the house. And this doesn't just apply to huskies. Smaller breeds like pugs and bulldogs are highly prone to genetic health issues. That's why, before choosing a dog, you must research whether its breed matches your lifestyle and living conditions. Lack of discipline from the start. The price of not setting rules. When my dog was a puppy, it would jump on the couch, climb onto my bed, and playfully nibble on my hands. I thought it was harmless, but when it grew up, these habits didn't disappear. In fact, they became much harder to control. By the time it weighed 30 kilograms, it was still jumping onto my bed like a little puppy, except this time, it completely took over my sleeping space. I realized too late that if you don't set rules from the beginning, you won't be able to change your dog's habits once it grows up. Be consistent from day one. If you don't want your dog sleeping on your bed, teach it while it's still young. If you don't want it jumping on people, stop the behavior immediately before it becomes a routine. Neglecting vaccinations. A decision that could cost a life. When raising a puppy, most owners are excited to take it outside and introduce it to the world. I was no different. I thought that exposing my puppy to the outside environment as early as possible would help it socialize better. But just a week later, I realized I had made a serious mistake. My puppy suddenly stopped eating, had persistent diarrhea, and became extremely weak. When I rushed it to the vet, I found out that it had contracted parvovirus, one of the most dangerous diseases for puppies. The vet explained that a puppy's immune system is still underdeveloped, and if it hasn't received all its vaccinations, it can contract diseases from the ground, water, or even indirect contact with the feces of other dogs. If you think letting your puppy run and explore outside early on is harmless, think again. Only take your puppy outdoors after it has completed all necessary vaccinations. If you want to help it get used to the environment in the meantime, carry it in your arms instead of letting it touch the ground. Overlooking a puppy's sleep. Unexpected consequences. Most dog owners love playing with their puppies all day because they're so cute, energetic, and fun. I was the same, but I didn't realize that puppies need 16 to 18 hours of sleep per day to grow properly. I often woke my puppy up to play, take pictures, or simply because I thought it was sleeping too much. As a result, it became overexcited, irritable, and difficult to train. Just like human babies, puppies need deep sleep to support brain development, immune function, and emotional stability. If you want your dog to grow up healthy and well-behaved, make sure it has a quiet, comfortable space to get enough rest. Scolding and yelling at your dog. You're making it fearful, not teaching it a lesson. Have you ever yelled at your dog for peeing in the house? I have, many times. I thought that by showing anger, my dog would understand that it did something wrong. But in reality, that's not how it works. The next time, my dog still peed in the house, but this time, it did it when I wasn't around. Instead of learning that peeing in the right place is good, it only learned that my owner gets mad when they see pee. Dogs don't have the ability to reason like humans do. They simply react to what they've been conditioned to expect. If you want your dog to learn, use positive reinforcement. Reward it when it does the right thing. If you want it to pee in the right spot, guide it to the proper area instead of scolding it when it makes a mistake. Many people believe that as dogs grow up, they will naturally adjust their behavior without their owner's intervention. But that's not the case. Even if you've had dogs for years, there are still small mistakes that can significantly impact their health and behavior. Bathing your dog too often. When cleanliness becomes a risk. Has anyone ever thought that frequent bathing is a sign of love? I did too. I wanted my dog to always smell fresh and stay clean, so I bathed it every week, or even more. But I didn't realize that this could strip away its natural protective oils, causing its skin to become dry, irritated, and more prone to infections. Not to mention, using the wrong shampoo can disrupt the pH balance of a dog's skin. If you think dogs need frequent baths like humans do, stop right now. Most breeds only need a bath once every 1 to 3 months, unless they get extremely dirty. If you're concerned about odor, you can wipe them down with a damp cloth or use dry shampoo specifically designed for dogs. Believing that dogs will naturally behave as they grow up. A dangerous misconception among dog owners. Many people assume that dogs will automatically become well-behaved over time. I made this mistake too. When my dog was a puppy, it loved jumping on guests whenever they came over. At the time, I thought it was adorable. But when it grew bigger and still had the same habit, it started scaring people. No one wants a 30-kilogram dog jumping on them and knocking them over. I realized that dogs don't instinctively know what's right and wrong unless they are trained. If you don't teach them from an early age, bad habits won't disappear. They will only become harder to correct as the dog grows older. If there's a behavior you don't want your dog to continue into adulthood, correct it as early as possible. Lack of chew toys. When your dog turns your home into a battlefield, have you ever come home to find your favorite pair of shoes torn to shreds? Or a couch suddenly covered in bite marks? I've been there. I used to think my dog was just being bad or mischievous, but in reality, that wasn't the case at all. Dogs, especially puppies, have a natural need to chew, just like babies need to teeth. If you don't provide them with the right toys, they will find something else to chew. And that could be your shoes, furniture, or even electrical wires. The solution is simple. Give your dog appropriate chew toys. Whether it's rubber bones, treat dispensing toys, or natural chew bones, having the right items will not only protect your belongings, but also keep your dog mentally stimulated and satisfied. You'll be surprised how much tidier your house becomes with just this small adjustment. Walking your dog on the same route. When the world becomes boring for your dog, we often take our dogs for walks along the same route every day because it's convenient. But have you ever noticed that, even on familiar paths, your dog still stops to sniff around? That's because, for them, each day brings new scents and discoveries. I used to think that walking my dog on a fixed route was enough, until I started noticing signs of boredom, lack of enthusiasm, and even destructive behavior at home. That's when I realized that changing the route not only allows dogs to explore the world, but also stimulates their minds. If you don't have time to switch up your walking routine daily, Try taking your dog to different environments, such as parks, open fields, or areas with more trees and greenery, where they can satisfy their natural curiosity. Letting your dog interact with other animals without supervision, a bigger risk than you think. One day, I took my dog to the park and let it freely approach another dog. I thought all dogs enjoyed socializing, but within seconds, the other dog growled and lunged at mine. I didn't have time to react, and my dog was so frightened that it refused to go near other dogs for weeks after that. Later, I learned that not all dogs enjoy social interactions. Some are fearful, territorial, or simply don't like being disturbed. If you don't want your dog to have a traumatic experience, always ask the other owner before allowing your dog to approach. Neglecting nail trimming. A silent but serious problem. A dog's nails are not like human nails. They continuously grow, and if they become too long, they can affect the dog's movement and even cause pain. I once let my dog's nails grow too long without realizing the consequences until I noticed it limping. When I took it to the vet, I learned that overgrown nails can cause pain, alter the dog's gait, and even lead to joint problems. If you can hear your dog's nails clicking on the floor, it's time for a trim. Feeding dogs human food. A dangerous habit. Everyone loves sharing food with their furry friend. I did too. But I didn't know that many foods safe for humans can be toxic to dogs. I once gave my dog a small piece of chocolate, unaware that chocolate contains theobromine, a substance that can cause serious poisoning in dogs. It's not just chocolate. Grapes, onions, garlic, chicken bones, or fatty and salty foods can all lead to severe health issues. Remember, what's good for you may not be good for your dog. If you truly love them, make sure their diet is safe and appropriate. For every dog owner, their pet's health and lifespan are the most important concerns. But sometimes, seemingly harmless habits can shorten a dog's life without us even realizing it. These are not just small daily mistakes, but things that can cause serious health problems and significantly reduce a dog's lifespan. Yet many owners don't recognize them until it's too late. Not socializing your dog early, when fear turns into a lifelong burden. When I first got my dog, I thought keeping it at home would keep it safe from outside dangers, but I didn't realize that lack of socialization during puppyhood can make dogs timid, anxious, or even aggressive as they grow up. I watched as my dog trembled whenever guests came over, barked uncontrollably at strangers, and worst of all, became constantly stressed whenever we went outside. Later, I learned that the period between 3 to 16 weeks old is the golden window for puppies to get accustomed to different environments, people, and animals. If you don't want your dog to be fearful and difficult to handle as an adult, start socializing it early. Don't keep it confined at home for too long. Let it meet new people, interact with other dogs in a controlled manner, and experience different sounds and environments. Not stimulating your dog's mind, when boredom leads to destruction. One of the biggest mistakes I made was thinking that physical exercise alone was enough for my dog. But in reality, dogs also need mental stimulation. At one point, my dog started exhibiting unusual behaviors. It barked excessively, destroyed household items, and acted restless, even after long walks. I couldn't figure out why until I learned that a dog without mental stimulation will become bored and find ways to entertain itself, usually in ways we don't want. When I started introducing brain games like hide-and-seek, maze puzzles, and obedience training, everything changed. My dog became calmer, more focused, and even smarter. If your dog is misbehaving, it might not be naughty. It might just need more mental challenges. Not controlling your dog's weight. When too much love leads to illness, Many people believe that feeding dogs a lot is a way to show love, but I've seen too many cases where dogs become obese simply because their owners don't regulate their diet. I used to think that giving occasional treats wouldn't hurt, but I failed to realize that obesity is one of the leading causes of heart disease, diabetes, and joint pain in dogs. One day, I noticed my dog struggling to move and panting heavily after just a short walk. When I took it to the vet, I was shocked by the diagnosis. It was severely overweight, and if it didn't lose weight, its lifespan would be significantly shortened. From that day on, I adjusted its diet, reduced unnecessary treats, and increased its physical activity. If you don't want to face the same situation, make sure your dog isn't overeating and maintains a healthy weight. Using the wrong collar, a small mistake with big consequences. A collar is a common accessory for every dog, but few owners realize that an ill-fitting collar can cause serious problems. I once put a collar that was too tight on my dog, not knowing that it was restricting its breathing and putting pressure on its trachea. This is especially dangerous for short-nosed breeds like pugs and bulldogs, who already have breathing difficulties. On the other hand, a collar that's too loose can slip off, allowing your dog to run away. After nearly losing my dog because of a loose collar, I learned a valuable lesson. Always ensure the collar fits properly. You should be able to fit 2 fingers between the collar and your dog's neck. Neglecting dental care. When every meal becomes a risk, very few owners think about brushing their dog's teeth, but this is one of the most overlooked health concerns. At first, I thought bad breath was normal for dogs. But then I noticed my dog losing interest in food, chewing slowly, and sometimes refusing to eat. When I took it to the vet, I found out that it had severe gum disease, which, if left untreated, could lead to infection, tooth loss, and even affect vital organs like the heart, liver, and kidneys. From then on, I started brushing my dog's teeth 2 to 3 times a week with dog-friendly toothpaste, giving it dental chews, and scheduling regular vet checkups. If you've never thought about your dog's dental health, start today before it's too late. And that's the 20 biggest mistakes I've made while raising a dog. Looking back, I realized that most of these mistakes could have been avoided if I had known better from the start. If you own a dog, or are planning to get one, I hope this video helps you avoid these common pitfalls so that your furry friend can live a long, healthy, and happy life. How many of these mistakes have you made? Comment below and let's share our experiences. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with other dog lovers. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.